Yo, what up, Tush here. This will be the final video on Mono Quantum, and this will be the full review since we have the team fully fleshed out in Honkai Zero. Just like we went over the Daunt team, we're going to go over Sparkle and her best allies in the Mono Quantum team. Now, I won't be talking about characters outside of the Mono Quantum team comp, only because I'm sure all of you have already seen this all over YouTube. I am rather late to the party. When am I not late to the party, right? I don't have access to the media server, and again, I try my best to not swipe in this game. Anyways, let's hop into the video. So, Sparkle. Let's talk about Sparkle. Sparkle is a E7 version of Bronya just for Mono Quantum. Outside of the team, she's not necessarily an E7 version of Bronya. She is a Bronya that is a lot more skill point manageable, but for the most part, in the team with other Quantum characters, she just gives a lot of more buffs compared to the other Harmony characters we have in the game. How has Sparkle impacted Seele after the release of this character? Seele feels more like a better character now, I want to say. The problem is with Seele is that she already just has a ton of buffs she gives herself. Her multipliers need to be higher to compensate for the fact that she's single target. I mean, it's too late now. Her kit has already been fleshed out. But I believe if this character was released nowadays, she would have harder hitting numbers. Her numbers hit really hard, but you have to buff her up a ton. You have to put down the weakness on the enemy if they're not weak to Quantum already. And then you have to get the defense down too, and then once you have all of those things checked, you have to make sure she crits. And if she crits, then you're met with a huge number. The highest number I hit so far was 350,000, which is a large number. But for the most part, you're not going to hit that all the time unless you set up that very exact scenario. So while Seele didn't get too much of a buff compared to other characters in the team, Silverwolf now feels like a much better character. The reason why is because now with Silverwolf, you can spam your skill as much as you want, because your Silverwolf will be the one going first in the turn order. You can use your elemental skill and not have to worry about anything else. And then you can constantly use your skill if you want to rotate different enemies or put the quantum weakness on different enemies, right? And you can do that reliably now since every teammate in the team is now of the same element. And on top of that, since Sparkle gives buffs to the whole team, and, you know, still the soul damage dealer, she buffs the elemental skill, but the attack percentage and damage boost. Silverwolf now, I mean, for a sub DPS, hits like a truck. Her elemental skill in combination with her ult has allowed me to hit up to sometimes 60k. And that, for me, is a lot of damage, right? Coming from a character that is just helping your soul damage dealer do as much damage as they can. And I have been using before the tutorial mission starts, only because in combination with Eidolons, this feels really good because you constantly get your ult, which again, for Silverwolf in the team comp with Sparkle and Seele, because you're going to be rotating enemies quite often, it's very important to have the defense down as often as you can, and you take advantage of having a faster build because of that. As for Xuan, this character has been a little bit of an interesting case for me. Now, Xuan is one of the hardest characters to build if you want to build her as a sub DPS. You need HP, you need to have some defense just to make sure she can remain a defensive option for the team, of course. You need some speed, right? Just so she can at least take turns. And then you want crit rate and crit damage. Now, crit damage you can go a little bit soft on because there is ways of obtaining crit damage. Like, for instance, I'll go over just a second, we talk about Sparkle. But this character, in combination with Sparkle, because Sparkle did receive some changes in the beta, right? Of course, as you all know, we did go over in the previous video. And now that those damage boosts that she used to give prior to the attack boosting capabilities no longer is the case. So now Xuan does a little less damage than she was supposed to do once Sparkle did hit life service with her previous kit. But overall, every other character in the team comp is now dealing more damage. And I think that's all that matters. But Xuan still is able to take advantage of those damage buffs that Sparkle does provide. And depending on the light cone choice you have on Sparkle, if you have Planetary Rendezvous, or you have Sparkle's 5-star light cone, you're going to be giving either damage buffs or more crit damage to Xuan, which means you can take advantage of a sub DPS build more so than you were able to previously do. So real talk, what was the highest number I hit with Xuan in all of my fights before recording this video? The highest I've hit in AoE for Ultimate was 100k, which is the highest I've hit so far with this character outside of Simulated Universe. And I think that for me is very pleasing, very satisfying. I'm very happy with the release of Sparkle because of that. How much have I hit with a base attack from Xuan? In combination with the defense down from Silverwolf, the resistance decrease she puts on enemy as well, combination of Sparkle giving all of those damage buffs from her ultimate and her trace, and then on top of that, the crit damage I have from Sparkle's 5-star light cone, Xuan has hit up to 40,000 on a basic attack, which for me is a lot of damage. Now, you have to remember that Fu Xuan does scale off of HP, right? So the more HP you have on the character, the more her basic attacks will do. But considering I have 8k HP with a quantum damage boost spear, this is good enough for me. But I imagine with an HP orb, you might deal a little less, but you'll have more survivability on top of that. And again, she is a defensive option first and foremost, so you're going to make sure she can keep the team healthy before she is helping the team deal more damage, if that makes sense. If you plan on getting Fu Xuan in her rerun, which I assume there is a lot of you, or you're someone who wants to get Fu Xuan's Eidolon 1 on her rerun as well, I suggest you skipping her E1 because there is a better option now in Honkai Star Rail that is a lot more easier to obtain, quote unquote. Sparkle's 5-star light cone is very valuable. It gives you a ton of crit damage, it gives Sparkle a ton more crit damage, and it gives crit rate to the team as well. So you're getting 48 crit value from Sparkle's light cone, which is more crit value than Fu Xuan's E1. Fu Xuan's E1 gives you 30 crit value, whereas Sparkle's light cone gives you 48 crit value, and that's not even counting the crit damage she gets furthermore, which gives more crit damage to the damage dealer she boosts up. And again, this is for everyone in the team party, and it does last for 4 turns after the first 3 turns. So this is a very strong light cone, and it is a lot more easier to obtain versus Fu Xuan's E1. So again, if you plan on going for Fu Xuan's E1 on her Eidolon, if you plan to go for Fu Xuan's E1 on her rerun, just go for Sparkle's light cone instead. It is going to be much better. For frame of reference, for the footage I used in the video, my Soul Wolf is 159 speed right now. I want her to be faster just so she can keep up with Seele. But having your Soul Wolf be faster than Sparkle is the most important thing because you want to make sure that the damage boost is going to, depending on the light cone you have on your Sparkle, of course, damage boost is going to the damage dealer, whether that's QQ or Seele or any other damage dealer you plan to use in a team comp. This doesn't even have to apply for any quantum character, right? But just making sure that you give that damage boost to the damage dealer you're pushing up. So make sure your Soul Wolf is faster than your Sparkle. That is very important. In terms of speed I have on my Sparkle, I have 152 speed. Obviously, I want this character to be fast, but listen, man, it's already hard enough to get stats in this game as is. Imagine trying to get speed in this game when you don't farm as much as you do like in Epic 7. In Epic 7, you can farm as much speed as you want because you know why? You're able to farm more in a day. Honkai Star Rail, you're limited to doing like 8 runs, 6 runs in a day, and that's pretty much it. If they gave out more fuel in the future, I mean, they gave us 10 fuel, but I had to use that for traces for Sparkle. If they give us more fuel in the future, sure, then I'll try to go for more speed on the character, but I'm not holding my breath on that because I have to farm for other characters. But again, give Sparkle as much speed as you can. I have Sparkle on a, let me just go and show the relics. I have Sparkle on a 2p speed. 2p speed gives her more speed, and then I have any type of piece that gives me a ton of crit damage, which is also very important on the character. I have a crit damage main chest with no speed substats, which sucks, but again, all you need is the main stat when it comes to the crit damage piece. So yeah, make sure she has at least 200 crit damage, is very important, and give her as much speed as you can, that's also important. The effect res isn't as important as you think, especially if you use her in a team with Fu Xuan. Again, I found using her in the team with Fu Xuan is just always using her elemental skill. My Sparkle only got CC'd once out of the 10 plus battles I've done, so that lets you know you probably don't need effect res on the character as much as you think. How is this team compared to the other teams in the game currently? Is this the best team? Is this the worst team? Is this a mid team? Is it overrated? Well, to answer all of those questions, you have to ask yourself, why are you investing into this team? Are you a new player? If you're a new player, then I think this is a great team to invest in. I mean, obviously, go with what you have on your account. If you don't have Seele, then use QQ in place of her. QQ is an amazing option, almost like Sparkle and these other quantum characters. But also you have to ask yourself too, do you want a team that is universal everywhere you go, that is super versatile? You can bring it anywhere, literally anywhere, and not have to worry about what the enemy is weak to because you are the weakness for the enemy. And I think that is the best redeeming factor of Mono Quantum. It is a huge quality of life for Honkai Star Rail's everyday combat system. That's what I enjoy most about this. I can go into the game, put it on auto, and literally do anything else and not have to worry about what is going on. Doesn't matter what I'm fighting, who I'm fighting, it is the same results every single time. And I think that's what I appreciate the most about this team now that it's fully fleshed out. But is it the best team in the world? Obviously not. It is still like a hyper carry team because you have your defense down or your Nihili character alongside your Harmony character, and you have your defensive option and your hyper carry damage dealer or your main damage dealer. So this is pretty much a hyper carry incarnate team, but it isn't going to compare to like Jing Liu and Daniel, for instance. because those characters are obviously broken, right? A broken character is going to be better than a less broken character, but I will say this team is not going to become better in the future. It's not going to become worse in the future unless they do release characters that ignore the weakness of the enemy like Zui. If they bring more characters like that into Honkai Star Rail, then expect this team to be less valuable than it is right now. Again, I can't speak for what characters are coming in right now that may be in that category, but let's say if Akadon is that character, expect this team to be a little less enticing compared to characters like that, because I mean, obviously we're reaching a level of power creep at that point, but I would say this is the safest team to invest in because it is the most universal and brain dead team in the game currently. Let's say right now you're pressed for pools, right? And you just got Sparkle. You probably had to go to Pity twice, and you need to save more pools later on for another character because maybe you just want to get Akadon or save for Aventurine, for instance, right? Use Planetary Rendezvous instead. It is a very solid light cone. I was using this before I got her 5-star light cone, and it had very similar results. The only thing is that you're not getting crit, which crit helps your characters crit more often, obviously. But this light cone is very good because it applies to everyone in the team, no matter who is going around after Sparkle, right? Because if you're using Past and Future, but the battle isn't over, you have to make sure you speed tune. Whereas with Planetary Rendezvous, you literally don't have to worry about speed tuning. Speed tuning might as well not exist for the team comp. Just make sure your Soul is still the fastest character in the team, though. Did I say fastest team in the character, though? Fastest character in the team, though. What the heck? So there you have it. That is my Mono Quantum complete review. This comp has come a long way. Maybe I'll make from beginning to end video like we've done for, individual characters like March 7th, Natasha. I mean, I'm working on the Herta video as we speak. And what's her name? I forgot her name because she's irrelevant right now. No, I'm kidding. Hanya. She's a very nice character. It's just unfortunate that Sparkle is going to be the reason why no one talks about this character ever again. That's going to be the video here. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. If you haven't pulled for Sparkle yet, good luck on your pulls. If you have pulled for Sparkle, I hope you're satisfied with your pulls and you got lucky. Peace.